All right, everyone. So today I wanted to share with you guys an awesome hidden trick that's going to save you a ton of gold when it comes to gearing and enhancing your characters in Grand Cross Global. So I'm going to explain this to you guys step by step. It's not too confusing or complicated, but you definitely want to make sure you do this properly so that you save as much gold and resources as you can. So in order to do this trick, you're going to need a couple of things to follow by. First of all, you're going to need to be working on two pieces of gear at the same time. They don't need to be for the same character, but they do need to be of the same rarity, and that's the other thing. So you need to be working on two pieces of common gear, uncommon, rare, SR. I wouldn't do that though. That's a whole different story on its own. Or SSR. So you can't be working on like a common piece of gear and then an SSR piece of gear. They do need to both be of the same rarity. Now you can be working on multiple pieces of gear beyond two. That's totally fine. You're actually going to benefit from doing that, but it can't just be one. So you can't only be working on one piece of gear and use this trick. So this has to do with the enhancement failure gauge. And the way that this works is when you fail an enhancement, it will allow you to fill up this gauge here. And then what you can do is you can use this gauge to boost your success rate up to 100%. Now, the amount of points that you use to boost your success rate, it's just the addition of the success rate plus the points that you have. So just as an example here, if we have an item that is +4 right here, okay, so we have a 60% success rate, 40% chance of failure. What it'll do is if I click this button here, it'll pull 40 points from my enhancement gauge to make this a 100% success rate. Now that is true across all the different awakening levels, whether it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, that's how the system works, and the enhancement gauge is shared across the different awakened levels. It is not shared across the different rarities, so commons and SSRs have a different gauge, but 0 star, commons, 1 star, 2 star, 3, 4, and 5 all do still have the same gauge. So even if I look at a 5-star item right here, you'll see that it has that same gauge. Now, when you have a higher chance of failure, you will actually gain more points towards your enhancement failure, but still, you are absolutely going to want to save your enhancement failure gauge for, at the minimum, I would say 4-star awakened gear. And honestly, if you want to get the absolute most out of it, you want to save it specifically for 5-star gear to get those last couple of points for some extra stats. It kind of just depends, but definitely do not use your enhancement failure gauge on any items that are 3-star and lower. Now, at first impression, you might be thinking, well, because you get more points when your failure rate is higher, doesn't that mean that the game kind of makes up for it? And the answer to that is not really, and I'm going to show you guys the reason why, because the math and the numbers are a little bit confusing. I'm not really going to get too much into that, but this example will definitely blow your mind and why you want to be doing this. And even though you get more points towards your success gauge when you have a higher chance of failure, it's still much more beneficial for you to get the points while you're working on lower awakened gear and save them for higher awakened gear. Okay, so let's take a look at this 4-star item right here. We have a, wait, that's 5-star. Okay, let me go back to the 4-star. Here we go. We have a 20% chance for success, right? So if I were to boost it up to 100%, it would pull 80 points from my enhancement failure gauge. That would bring it up to 100%, right? So with a natural 20% success rate, that means that we are going to fail 4 out of 5 times. So if we just upgrade this naturally, we're going to get 4 failures for every success. Now, if I move on to a 5-star item right here, we have a 10% success rate. Now, it's going to use not 80, but 90 of my enhanced failure gauge points to boost it up to a 100% success rate. However, if we were to just work on this naturally, we only have a 10% success rate. So that means that we are going to fail 9 out of 10 times. So we are using 10 points more on the enhancement failure gauge, but we fail 9 times out of 10 instead of 4 times every 5. So we pay a little bit more in terms of the points that we use, but we fail way more on this item. And on top of that, don't forget that the higher star and the higher enhanced items are also going to use more resources and more gold. You can see here that this +0 5-star is taking 3 enhancement stones and 2,600 gold, whereas if we go back to the basic unawakened and enhanced, 1 enhancement material, 100 gold. Remember, we're just using common items for an example, but this is significantly amplified when you increase the rarity of gear. So, 10 more points on the enhancement failure gauge, but we save ourselves an insane amount of resources that we would normally have to waste trying to hit that 10% success rate right here. So either way, even though you do end up getting more points when you are failing the higher star level items, it is still in your best interest to not waste your failure gauge on low awakened, low enhanced items and absolutely save it up for those high awakened, high enhanced items. You can see here that this 2-star plus 4 earrings, you know, it's got a success rate of 60%. That means that we're going to succeed more often than we fail. So we're not even 1 failure for 1 success, but we would have to use almost half of our enhancement gauge here in order to boost it up. That's a lot of points, and if we just use 50 more points, we can go ahead and use it on a 5-star item where we have a much higher chance to fail. It uses many more resources, and you just get so much more value for saving your failure gauge for opportunities like this. So that's why you want to work on multiple pieces of gear. You want to have a lower star item that you're working on, and then a higher star item that you are saving your enhancement failure gauges for, and definitely just don't waste it on low star items. You could definitely use this system to save yourself an insane amount of gold and resources over the course of the game. The more pieces of gear that you work on and upgrade, the more gold you're going to be able to save. So the sooner you guys start using this trick, the more you're going to get out of it. That's going to be it for the video, though. Going to keep it shorter. I said everything I had to say. I did everything I had to do. So for the time being, that is going to be it for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you're interested in more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to toss a quick like as well. It means more than you can imagine. And a couple more videos, Grand Cross Global related, should be popping up on the screen. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.